A portal opened in my house and an alien woman stepped out. I couldn't understand why she came. It was a quiet night. The kind of night where the air felt heavier than usual, and the only sound was the soft ticking of the clock on the wall. Sunil sat in his small living room, staring at his laptop. The glow of the screen painted his face in pale blue light. He was reading an article about deep-sea creatures, as he often did when sleep felt too far away. Then, without any warning, a strange sound filled the room. It was soft at first, like the hum of an electric appliance. But this was different. It was melodic, vibrating, almost alive. Sunil looked around, confused. The hum grew louder and stronger, and suddenly the air in front of him shimmered. It was as if the space itself was bending, twisting like water in a fast stream. He rubbed his eyes, thinking he was imagining things. But when he opened them again, a small, glowing portal floated in the middle of his living room. The portal was round, like a window, but inside it, swirling lights moved like tiny stars in a galaxy. Sunil's heart pounded. What is this?" he whispered. His voice sounded weak even to himself. Before he could take another step, a figure emerged from the portal. She stepped out carefully, almost as if she were walking on a tightrope. Sunil froze. The figure was a woman, but not a human woman. Her skin was pale with a soft silver hue. Her eyes were large and dark, almost reflective, and they seemed to glow faintly. Her hair moved on its own, not swayed by the air, but like it had its own gentle life. She looked around the room with wide eyes. There was awe in her expression, but also exhaustion. Every movement was deliberate, cautious, as though she were balancing curiosity and fear. She carried no weapon, no strange device in her hands, nothing that could be seen as threatening. Sunil's first thought was that he had lost his mind. This can't be real," he muttered. The alien woman, he had no idea what else to call her, took a small step toward the couch. She bent slightly, scanning it with her glowing eyes, and her lips moved. A strange sound came out, soft and musical, like a song without words. Sunil shook his head, trying to focus. Then a small device in her hand activated, projecting words in English. I finally found them," it said. Sunil blinked. Found who?" he asked, his voice trembling. She didn't answer at first. She looked around again, slower this time, almost as if she were memorizing everything. The furniture, the paintings on the wall, even the small pile of books on the corner table. She seemed fascinated by the ordinary human objects. Sunil realized something strange. She wasn't scared. She was curious. Finally, she spoke again, her voice soft and precise. "I had to come alone," Sunil's mind raced. "Alone? Come from where?" The portal behind her shimmered gently. The swirling lights inside it were mesmerizing, but Sunil didn't dare move closer. He was afraid it might disappear, or worse, suck him in. The alien woman noticed him staring and gave a faint smile. It was a small gesture, but it felt comforting in a way that surprised Sunil. She moved closer to the couch, then sank slowly to sit on the floor. Sunil wanted to ask her questions, 1,000 questions, but none of them came out. Instead, he just watched her. She didn't make any sudden movements. She didn't reach for anything. She just sat there, breathing slowly, as though she were trying to regain some strength. "I have been looking for a long time," she said finally. "Longer than you can imagine." Sunil swallowed hard. You were looking for me?" The alien woman nodded. "Not just you, your kind, your planet." Sunil's mind went blank. His world had always been ordinary. He had never expected an alien visitor, especially not in his small apartment. And yet here she was, sitting on his floor as if it were the most normal thing in the universe. Why here?" he asked, his voice barely more than a whisper. She looked at him, her glowing eyes full of emotion he couldn't name. "Because this is where it begins, not in capitals, not in fleets or armies, here." Sunil's heart skipped a beat. "Begins what?" She leaned forward slightly, her eyes locked on his. "Everything. The truth about your species. The galaxy has ignored you, but I have not." Sunil didn't know what to say. He wanted to be scared, to run, to call someone, anyone, but he couldn't move. Something about her presence, calm, quiet, yet powerful, kept him rooted to the spot. "I had to see you," she said, "to understand." "Understand what?" he asked. Her lips moved again, and the device translated. "I need to know why humans survive when they should not, why you hope when hope seems illogical, why you care when it seems to cost you everything." Sunil felt a shiver run down his spine. I don't know, I just do." The alien nodded slowly, as if that answered all her questions. She looked around the room once more, her gaze lingering on small details: the cracked coffee mug, the stack of papers by the laptop, the small potted plant by the window. "This," she said softly, "this is why I came." Sunil didn't understand, but somehow he felt it too. There was something extraordinary about ordinary things, something that mattered in a way he could not explain. Suddenly, the portal behind her pulsed, and a soft humming filled the room again. She stood up carefully and looked at him with an intensity that made him uneasy. "I cannot stay long," she said. "Others will come if they know I am here. I must remain hidden at least for now." "Others?" Sunil whispered. "What? Who are they?" Her expression darkened, not with anger but with concern. "The galaxy, they do not understand humans. They would treat you as a curiosity or a threat." Sunil felt a mixture of fear and fascination. He wanted to ask more questions, but something in her tone made him pause. She was not here to harm. She was here to observe, to learn, to protect perhaps. Finally, she bent down and placed her hand lightly on the floor, as if feeling the energy of the place. "I will not explain everything tonight," she said. "It is too soon, but I promise I will teach you in time." Sunil could only nod. He didn't understand what was happening, but he felt a strange certainty. This was the start of something beyond his imagination. The portal shimmered again, flickering softly like a distant star. She took a deep breath, and then slowly she stepped back toward it. Sunil held his breath, expecting her to vanish completely, but she paused just at the edge and looked over her shoulder. Her eyes met his, and in them he saw hope, curiosity, and a kind of longing that was almost human. "Wait," he said. "Will you come back?" She smiled faintly. "I must, when the time is right." And then she stepped into the portal. The swirling lights closed behind her with a soft hum, leaving Sunil alone in his living room. The air was still again, the only sound the ticking of the clock. Sunil sank to the couch, his mind racing. Nothing in his life had prepared him for this. But deep down he knew one thing: the world he had always known had just changed forever. Outside, the night remained quiet, ordinary, almost peaceful. But Sunil knew it was no longer ordinary. The impossible had happened, and somehow he was part of it. And somewhere far beyond the stars, someone was watching and waiting for humans to prove why they mattered. The next morning, Sunil woke up to sunlight streaming through the curtains. The events of the night before felt like a dream. He sat up, rubbing his eyes, and glanced around his living room. There was no sign of the portal, no glowing figure, no alien woman. Everything looked ordinary. Yet Sunil could not shake the feeling that nothing would ever be ordinary again. He went about his morning routine mechanically, coffee, toast, checking messages, but his mind kept returning to her. Why had she come? Why him, and why now? What did she mean by the galaxy would ignore humans? As he stood by the window, lost in thought, a soft hum echoed in the room. Sunil froze. It was faint at first, like a whisper of wind. Then, in the middle of his living room, the portal shimmered to life again. He blinked, unsure if he was still dreaming. Through the portal, the alien woman stepped out. She looked different somehow, more alert, more focused. Her silver-hued skin glimmered under the sunlight, and her large, dark eyes studied Sunil carefully. "Good morning," she said softly. Her voice was calm, but there was an energy to it, something almost magnetic. Sunil stepped back, unsure of what to say. You're back," she nodded. "I promised I would return, and now I have to speak to you properly." Sunil swallowed hard. Why me? Why my home?" She paused and scanned the room again, her gaze lingering on the book stacked near his laptop. "Because humans are different. Your species carries something unique, something other beings in the galaxy rarely understand." Sunil frowned. "Different how?" The alien woman bent slightly, her eyes locking onto his. "Humans hope even when there is no reason to hope. Humans care even when it is costly. Humans choose to grow, to learn, and to protect each other, even when logic suggests it is unnecessary. That is why I came. That is why I chose this place, and you." Sunil felt his mind spinning. He had never considered that humans could be extraordinary. Most of the time, he felt small and powerless in the vast world. And yet this alien stranger who had traveled across the stars saw something incredible in him and in everyone like him. "But why now?" he asked, his voice trembling. "Why come here now?" She stepped closer, her movements graceful and careful. "Because the galaxy is changing. Other civilizations, older, larger, and stronger, are ignoring something important. They do not see what humans can do. They do not understand the value of your kind. But I do." Sunil took a deep breath, trying to process her words. "So you're here to watch us, study us." She shook her head. "Not to watch, to learn, to understand, to see if humans are ready to face what is coming." "What is coming?" Sunil asked, his curiosity overtaking his fear. She paused, considering how much to reveal. A time when the galaxy will face challenges it cannot solve alone. Many civilizations have forgotten the value of hope, empathy, and courage. They rely on rules, power, and technology. And they fail because they lack the emotional wisdom humans have in abundance if they choose to use it. Sunil felt a mixture of awe and confusion. His life had always been simple: work, home, small joys. And now this alien woman spoke of the entire galaxy, of civilizations that had ignored humans, and of challenges beyond imagining. You think humans can help?" he asked. "I do not think, I know," she replied. "But first I must understand your kind in its natural state. Not through governments, not through fleets, not through leaders. Humans' true strength emerges in small moments, in quiet choices, in everyday kindness. That is why I am here with you." Sunil nodded slowly. Something inside him stirred, a sense of purpose, of responsibility he had never felt before. "Okay, so what do I do?" "For now," she said, her voice soft, "you observe, you ask questions, you share. I will explain what I can. The rest you will discover in time." Sunil gestured to the couch. "Sit, we can talk there." She smiled faintly and sat, crossing her legs gracefully. "Yes, that is best." The morning passed slowly. Sunil asked questions, simple ones at first: where she came from, how she traveled, why she spoke English. She answered carefully, revealing just enough to keep him intrigued but not overwhelmed. She explained that her civilization had mastered interstellar travel, but it had come at a cost. Her people had lost a part of themselves, their curiosity, their empathy, their connection to others. They saw emotions as flaws and logic as perfection. But humans, she said, were the opposite: imperfect, emotional, and irrational in ways that were powerful. Sunil listened, fascinated. "So, my kind is important?" he asked. "Yes," she replied simply. "In ways even your brightest scientists cannot measure. Your kind can inspire, adapt, and solve problems in ways the galaxy has forgotten." For the first time, Sunil felt a strange pride. Ordinary people like him, living in small apartments, going to work, caring for families, could carry something extraordinary within them. He felt a sudden need to share this with others, but he didn't know how. The alien woman stood and walked slowly toward the window, looking out at the city below. "I chose your home because I needed to see humans as they truly are. I needed to see choices, not commands. I needed to see kindness, not law. And I needed to see hope, even in small, simple moments." Sunil felt his chest tighten. He realized she was speaking about more than himself. She was speaking about humanity as a whole, ordinary people, unnoticed, living their quiet lives, yet capable of great things. "I don't know if I can live up to what you expect," he admitted. "You do not need to live up," she said softly. "You need to simply be, to act, to care, to learn. That is enough. That is what makes humans extraordinary." Sunil took a deep breath and nodded. He was still unsure, still overwhelmed. But the alien woman's presence filled him with a strange courage. For the rest of the day, they talked about simple things: food, music, stories, dreams. She was fascinated by the smallest human details: the way sunlight reflected on his coffee cup, the smell of toast, the laughter of children outside. To her, these were treasures, proof that humans created meaning in a universe that often seemed meaningless. As the evening approached, she turned to him seriously. "I cannot stay long. Others may be watching, curious about my journey. I must return to the stars, but I will come back. When I do, you must be ready to learn more, to act if necessary." "Others?" "Watching?" Sunil asked, nervous. "They do not understand humans. They will underestimate you, or they will try to control you, but I will help guide you." Sunil felt a mixture of excitement and fear. His ordinary life had been shattered. Now he was part of something immense, something beyond Earth, beyond humans, beyond imagination. She stepped toward the portal that shimmered faintly in the corner. "Remember," she said, looking at him with her glowing eyes, "the galaxy has ignored your kind for too long. But even a single human, choosing hope and care, can change the future." Sunil nodded, feeling the weight of her words. "I will try, I promise." The alien woman smiled, a small gesture filled with warmth. Then she stepped into the portal. The shimmering light swallowed her, and the portal vanished, leaving Sunil alone once again. He sat on the couch, heart racing, mind buzzing. Everything had changed. He had touched the edge of the universe. He had spoken with a being from beyond the stars. And somehow he felt that humanity's quiet power, the power of hope, care, and curiosity, was finally being noticed. For the first time in his life, Sunil understood something important. Humans were not just living, they were extraordinary. And the galaxy, whether it knew it or not, would need them. As night fell, Sunil looked out the window at the twinkling city lights. Somewhere among the stars, she was watching, learning, waiting. And he was ready for the day she returned, ready to discover what humans could truly do. The next day, Sunil woke with a mix of excitement and worry. He had stayed up thinking about her words, the alien woman's fascination with humans, her promise that the galaxy would soon notice them, and the strange weight of importance she placed on ordinary people like him. By mid-morning, the soft humming returned. Sunil had begun to recognize it, the gentle vibration that preceded her arrival. And sure enough, the portal shimmered once more in the corner of his living room. She stepped out, serene and deliberate, as if she had traveled 1,000 light years just to arrive at this moment. "Good morning," Sunil said nervously. You came again." "I promised," she replied softly. "And today I will explain more. Today you will understand why humans matter." Sunil's heart pounded. He had questions, so many questions. But he waited, sensing that today the answers would be larger than anything he could imagine. She walked slowly into the room, her eyes scanning everything as if she had memorized it all already. "The galaxy," she began, "is in danger not from war, not from invasion, but from something far more subtle, something that affects every civilization silently, without warning." What is it?" Sunil asked, his voice tight. "Stagnation," she said simply. "The great civilizations of the stars have grown old. They have perfected technology, built fleets, created machines that can calculate every outcome. But in doing so, they have lost what makes a species alive: curiosity, empathy, hope, and courage. Without these, even the most powerful civilizations fail." Sunil frowned, trying to imagine it. "You mean they're failing?" "Yes," she said, her voice calm but urgent. "They cannot see the problems that require more than logic to solve. They lack imagination and moral courage. They have forgotten how to care, how to hope, how to take risks for others, and the consequences will be enormous." Sunil shivered. "So what does that have to do with humans?" She looked at him intently. "Everything. Humans have a trait almost unknown to other species. You combine hope with action, empathy with creativity, and courage with irrational persistence. Your species chooses to act, to care, and to protect, even when logic says it is pointless. That is why I came. That is why I risked leaving my civilization and coming here alone." Sunil felt both honored and overwhelmed. He had always thought humans were small, fragile, unimportant. And now, this alien being claimed that the quiet lives of ordinary people could affect the galaxy itself. "Show me," he whispered. "Show me how we can help." She nodded and moved toward the window, gazing at the city below. "First, you must understand what the galaxy misses. Imagine a place where every civilization follows rules perfectly, where machines make all decisions, where feelings are suppressed because they are considered inefficient. Logical? Yes. Alive? No." Sunil pictured it, a galaxy full of perfection, but no warmth, no surprise, no courage to act beyond calculation. He shivered again. "That sounds empty." "It is empty," she said. "And that is why humans are extraordinary. You create hope where there is none. You care for strangers, for children, for ideas. You persist even when the odds are impossible. You teach the galaxy a lesson it has long forgotten." Sunil swallowed hard. "But we're ordinary people. I'm ordinary. I work in an office, I pay bills, I sometimes help neighbors." "That's it," she tilted her head slightly, smiling faintly. "It is in ordinary people that extraordinary things hide. One choice, one act of care, one creative solution. These ripple farther than you can imagine. You will see in time how humans change the galaxy not by power, but by spirit." Sunil thought of his small acts, helping an elderly neighbor, volunteering at a school, encouraging friends. They had seemed small, insignificant, but now, through her eyes, they carried weight. They were seeds of something much larger. The alien woman walked back to him, her glowing eyes serious. "The galaxy has watched species rise and fall. Many civilizations believed that strength was measured in ships, weapons, and numbers. But the truth is that strength comes from choice, from the willingness to act with empathy, to solve problems with creativity, to hope against the odds. That is why I risked everything to come here." Sunil listened, amazed. He had never thought of humans as special. Yet here she was, insisting that humans' simple, quiet virtues could influence the stars. Why are you telling me this?" he asked. Because you must be ready, she said. Other civilizations will notice eventually. They may underestimate humans. They may try to control you, dismiss you, or ignore you. But the truth is this: humans are unpredictable, adaptable, and resilient. That unpredictability is a strength the galaxy has never understood. And I am here to help you prepare for when humans are called to act. Sunil took a deep breath. Called to act? Yes, she said softly. Soon, humans will face challenges that no one else can solve. You will be tested, not by war, not by destruction, but by the need to create, to unite, and to care. Your actions will ripple through the galaxy. Every choice matters. Every act of kindness, of hope, of courage matters. Sunil felt a surge of determination. He had spent most of his life feeling small, powerless, insignificant. And now, this being from beyond the stars claimed that ordinary people like him could change the fate of civilizations. The alien woman paused, looking at him with intensity. I did not come to teach humans how to fight. I came to show you what you already have inside. I came to remind you that your species is capable of more than you know, and I will stay as long as needed to guide you. Sunil nodded slowly. So, it's not about me, it's about all humans. Yes, she said. Each human carries the potential to inspire, to act, to change. Together, your kind is capable of something the galaxy has forgotten. Sunil felt both humbled and empowered. He realized that everything she said was true, not just for him, but for everyone on Earth. Ordinary people making ordinary choices could become extraordinary when the need arose. They spent the day talking. She explained more about the galaxy, about civilizations that had become stagnant, about species that had lost hope and creativity. She described how humans' small acts, sharing, helping, creating, teaching, were powerful in ways most humans never realized. She also told him that humans had something else the galaxy lacked: unpredictability. Machines calculate outcomes, civilizations predict behavior. But humans surprise the galaxy. You find solutions no one else can, you adapt when logic fails, and you care when no one expects it. Sunil was struck by the simplicity and truth of her words. All his small efforts, his mistakes, his choices, they were not meaningless. They were part of a larger pattern, a human strength the galaxy could not ignore. As evening approached, the alien woman looked at him with seriousness. I cannot stay forever. Others may come looking for me, but I will return. When I do, you must be ready, not to fight, but to act, to care, to inspire, to lead in ways the galaxy has forgotten. Sunil felt a strange mixture of fear and hope. He was ordinary, yet somehow he was part of something extraordinary. He did not yet know what that would be, but he felt ready to learn. She stepped toward the shimmering portal that had appeared in the corner of the room. Remember, she said, looking at him with her glowing eyes, humans are more than you believe. The galaxy has overlooked your kind for too long, but it cannot ignore you forever. And when it does, humans must be ready. Sunil nodded, heart pounding. I will be ready. The alien woman smiled faintly, a gesture filled with warmth and promise. Then she stepped into the portal. The shimmering lights enveloped her and she vanished, leaving Sunil alone once again. He sat on the couch, reflecting on her words. Humans, ordinary, flawed, emotional humans, carried something extraordinary inside. Hope, empathy, courage. Creativity. He realized that the galaxy's fate might one day rest in the hands of people just like him, just like his neighbors, just like everyone he had ever met. For the first time, Sunil felt a sense of purpose he had never known. The universe was bigger than he had imagined. And humans, his kind, were not just survivors. They were something the galaxy had forgotten how to measure, extraordinary in ways no one could calculate. As night fell, Sunil gazed out the window at the twinkling city lights. Somewhere among the stars, she was watching, learning, and waiting. And he knew that when the time came, humans would have to rise, not with weapons, but with hope, care, and courage. And somehow he felt certain that they would. The next morning, Sunil woke feeling restless. The city outside his window looked ordinary, but inside, he felt that everything had changed. The alien woman had shown him glimpses of the galaxy, civilizations that had forgotten empathy, machines that calculated everything, and humans whose small acts of kindness held extraordinary power. Sunil wondered why she had come to him, to his small apartment, instead of a government building, a scientific laboratory, or even a major university. Why had she chosen a single person over institutions that could reach millions? By mid-morning, the familiar hum filled the room. Sunil's heart leapt. The shimmering portal appeared and she stepped out again, her presence calm and deliberate. She did not rush. She did not glance at the clock. She simply walked into the room and sat on the floor, her eyes scanning the space. "Good morning," she said softly. "I see your thoughts are busy today." "Yes," Sunil replied. "I've been thinking, why me? Why my home? Why not the leaders, the scientists, the people in charge?" She smiled faintly, her glowing eyes reflecting sunlight from the window. "Because the galaxy has always looked at power, at institutions, at numbers. It has always assumed that those in charge are the ones who matter. But I know better. True strength emerges in the quiet moments, in small choices, in human hearts." Sunil frowned. "I don't understand." She leaned forward slightly. "Leaders follow rules, instructions, and protocols. They make decisions that are often safe, logical, and predictable. That is why civilizations like mine have failed in some ways. Logic without empathy, power without care, it leads to stagnation. But humans are unpredictable. You act when others hesitate. You care when others ignore. You hope when logic suggests surrender. That is why I came here, to a home, not a capital." Sunil felt a shiver run down his spine. The idea that small, ordinary acts mattered more than grand institutions was both frightening and inspiring. "So, you wanted to see humans as we really are," he said. "Yes," she replied. "Not filtered through governments, media, or organizations. I needed to see humans in their natural state, living, working, helping, creating. That is where your true strength appears, not in conferences or military halls, but in kitchens, classrooms, living rooms, just like this." Sunil thought about it. His life had always been ordinary. He had bills, errands, and small daily routines. He had friends, neighbors, coworkers. He had helped where he could, and now he realized she saw extraordinary power in these simple things. "But why me?" he asked. "I'm just one person." She looked at him directly. "Because even one person can reflect the potential of your species. One act can inspire another. One choice can ripple across a city, a country, even a planet. I needed to find someone who represents what humans truly are, not someone chosen for position or fame, but someone ordinary with the extraordinary within." Sunil felt a mix of pride and doubt. Could he live up to what she expected? Could he really influence the galaxy without even leaving his apartment? "You don't need to leave your home to begin," she said, reading his expression. "The galaxy will notice humans soon enough, but when it does, you will need to act. And you must know your worth before you are called." He nodded slowly. "So, what do I do now?" "Observe, learn, and share," she replied. "Notice your neighbors, your friends, your family. Notice yourself. Understand your choices, your hope, your care. These small actions are more powerful than any weapon or fleet, and one day the galaxy will need them." Sunil took a deep breath. He realized that the alien woman was teaching him not how to fight, but how to understand, to see the extraordinary in the ordinary, to recognize that humans carried a power no civilization had ever fully measured. They spent the day talking, and Sunil asked more questions about her civilization. She explained that her people had once believed in measuring worth by achievement and conquest. They had calculated every possible outcome, predicting wars, resources, and alliances. But they had missed something fundamental, the unpredictable creativity and hope of living beings. "Your species," she said, "has something we lost, something no calculation can measure. And the galaxy, unaware of this, is in danger of forgetting what life truly is." Sunil listened carefully. He thought about the small things he had done in his life: helping a friend in trouble, encouraging a child to learn, volunteering at a local library. He had never imagined that these actions had significance beyond his immediate world. Now she made it clear, they did. As evening fell, she looked at him with intensity. "I cannot stay long. Others may notice my presence if I linger, but I will return. And when I do, you must be ready to face the truth about humans and your place in it." "What truth?" he asked. "The truth that humans are capable of changing not just their world, but the galaxy," she said. "That every act of hope, empathy, and courage carries weight far beyond Earth. That the quiet choices humans make are more powerful than empires. And that, when the galaxy faces challenges it cannot solve alone, humans will be the ones who show the way." Sunil felt a shiver of awe. He was just one person, yet somehow he was part of something far larger. Ordinary humans, living ordinary lives, could become extraordinary without even realizing it. The alien woman moved toward the portal, her eyes reflecting determination. "Remember," she said, I did not come to teach humans how to dominate. I came to remind you of what you already have. That is why I chose a home, not a government. That is why I came to you and not to someone in a position of power. The galaxy underestimates humans because it measures only strength, logic, and resources. It forgets hope, kindness, creativity, and courage, and these are your greatest strengths. Sunil nodded. I understand, I think I do. Ordinary humans, extraordinary in ways no one sees. Yes, she said, smiling faintly, and you must understand it yourself before you are called to act. Only then will you be ready for what comes next. She paused, her gaze sweeping the room. I will return. And when I do, humans must be prepared, not to fight, but to inspire, to care, to act in ways the galaxy has forgotten. That is why I chose a home, a single human, a living room to see hope and choice in their purest form. Sunil felt the weight of her words. He had never imagined that his quiet life, his small choices, could matter so much. And yet here she was, a being from another star system, entrusting him with the knowledge that humans could be extraordinary. The portal shimmered. She stepped forward, leaving the room bathed in the soft glow of fading sunlight. Remember, one human, one choice, one act of care can ripple across the galaxy. Do not underestimate yourself, Sunil, and do not underestimate your kind. Then she disappeared, leaving Sunil alone once more. He sank to the couch, heart pounding, mind racing. The ordinary city outside his window felt different now, as if he could see the hidden threads connecting people, choices, and actions. Every small act, every gesture of kindness or courage was part of a larger pattern. For the first time, Sunil felt truly connected to humanity, not as an observer, not as a citizen, but as someone who carried the potential of his species in his own hands. The quiet strength of humans, their unpredictable hope, and their endless capacity for care, it was all extraordinary. And somewhere among the stars, the alien woman was watching, waiting, and preparing. And when the galaxy noticed humans, ordinary people like Sunil would be ready, not to fight, but to act, to inspire, and to show the universe the extraordinary in the ordinary.